Lars has an announcement to make. Let's not fuck around, Lars. You're going to forget what you came on to say. This is a beautiful announcement.
You guys, come on. Well, just being able to share this moment with you and Robin and the rest of your crew. I mean, you guys have been so supportive of Metallica for decades, and we've had 3 or 4 great shows with you and playing and all that great stuff. So we've been working on a new album for the last year and a half, our COVID lockdown record. And the one thing that we've done all through that is for the first time in our career, we've never really talked about it. So rather than, hey, there's a new record and countdowns and guess what's coming your way and all that kind of shit, we've been tight fucking lipped about it. And this morning, I want to share a new song with the world, and I want to tell everybody about the new Metallica album. And we have a new tour, we have a song, we have a video, we fucking all the bells and whistles, and we thought for sure this thing would leak. It hasn't fucking leaked. And so there's a new Metallica song. We're announcing a new album that's coming in April of next year. We're announcing a 2-year world tour. We have all the dates for 23 and 24 ready to go. We're coming to a city near you. We're playing 2 nights in every city, playing 2 completely different shows. So you buy 1 ticket for 2 shows, a Friday and a Sunday, and you get what's called a no-repeat weekend, which obviously is an old radio term. You get 2 100% completely different and unique shows.
You know, I heard this last night. They said, hey, Lars has a new... I said, really? I haven't heard anything about this. There's a new Metallica song. I said, oh, fuck, I hope it doesn't suck, because what am I going to do? Meanwhile, the song's beautiful. This is a great fucking Metallica song.
On November 28th, 2022, Metallica released their first new piece of material since 2016's Hardwired to Self-Destruct and the promotion of S&M 2 in 2020 following the 2019 live shows with the San Francisco Symphony. Fans and metal lovers alike jumped on the music video, full album, and world tour announcement as it seemingly fell on all of our collective heads out of the blue. I've always loved this being the way any new thing is brought to our attention, as I think hype trains, teasers, and leaving too many clues leading up to major releases has been absolutely beaten to death in recent years, and I think it takes away from the magnitude of any source of artistic medium overall. 7 days in, the official music video for Lux Aeterna sits at 8.8 million views, seemingly reaching its hype peak for now. A number I'm surprised isn't higher, if I'm being honest. The morning of, I woke to my second sunrise of food poisoning jolly, as post-Thanksgiving Chinese food had turned my insides into a war zone. I called off work the night before, since I was fighting for my life, and lacking quality sleep. It was 48 hours into this full evacuation of my intestines and crippling nausea that I was greeted with news that had the power to pull my ass out of bed and nearly jump for joy, to sing to the heavens and basically thank the Lord himself. A new Metallica release is something that exists in its own emotional complexity. Given all the turmoil and success the band has lived through over the years, it's something to behold that they're coherent enough to release material still worth mentioning, let alone operating together as a band at all. Before I could see a moving object on the screen, something inside of me braced to be disappointed, to not be wowed, to just be okay with whatever I got. And that's what I got. The opening descending chords shot into me with adrenaline and excitement. The beginning hang time with an open string from Hetfield as the drums picked up got me juiced, and then I was invested like listening to a friend's new song I knew I had to say I liked. I knew I was going to be okay with it. I didn't think it was bad in the least bit, but I certainly wasn't over the moon. I was excited about the content that was waiting for me in the full release and the opportunity to catch them on tour again, like I now feel addicted to, but not necessarily about this single. Sitting with a friend, slouched in sleepy dust, and pretty much badly needing a shower, I closed the YouTube player and went, oh boy, with a big smile. Well, I'm happy as fuck about this, but not moth into flame happy sort of vibe. We joked about the album sucking, expectations and desires for the new album, and possible locations to see them next year. It was good, it was wholesome, it was nonetheless new Metallica. I made a few quick Instagram posts, and that was that. The hype jumped out of nowhere, had its moment, then back to the toilet I went. I spent the next 2 days listening over and over, trying to gauge the song, trying to empathize with it. You can't hear this track without hearing their cover of Motorhead's Overkill from the Garage Inc. album. You can't listen to this track without hearing bits and pieces of Hit the Lights and Motor Breath, even a Kill 'Em All trait in general. It was in this connection I found its greatest strength, a not so ego-driven pursuit to get back to the roots, an acknowledgement up for the past, and a nod to the current listeners who've stuck out the long haul. The ones who've walked with the band for the mood swings and the genre hopping, the drama and headlines. The in-time, nearly robotic kick drum is so Phil Taylor in style of aggression that Lars is practically doing an ode to the song we talked about earlier. Hetfield's lyrics are crystal clear in describing the connection within a sea of fans among themselves in a concert setting, all sharing the same experience. Quote, exhilaration, frenzied sensation, kindred alliance connected inside, commiseration, sonic salvation, cast out the demons that strangle your life. A sea of hearts beats as one unified, magnification, all generations, approaching thunder, awaiting the light. James is speaking on his favorite factor that comes with the conditions of his job, bringing people together for a night who otherwise may never meet, to mutually forget about the stresses of their day and the past that haunts them while they sleep. Something James has been open about over and over again. In a recent interview with The New Yorker, James compares being on stage to a fantasy world. Quote, everyone is out there sprinkling you with wonderful dust. You start to believe it, and then you get home and you go, where's my dust? Not so wonderful now, sitting here alone with 2 cats, taking the garbage out. My body is tired, but my mind is still going. What do I do with that? I just ask people in the crew or my friends or my assistant, hey, can you just sit down and watch TV with me? I believe the addiction to fame is a real thing. I've got my little recovery posse on the road to help me out. We'll say a prayer before going on stage. James, you're a human being. You're going to die. You're here doing service. You're doing the best you can. That is helpful for me. He then talks on self-medicating and where he stands with his battle with alcohol. Quote, I think everyone searches for that sense of presence. I searched for it in the wrong medicines for a long time. I just wanted to turn my head off. That worked until it didn't work. Finding a new God that isn't alcohol, that's what I'm still working on. Lux Aeterna is Latin for eternal light, words commonly tossed around in religious texts and ideation. I find the lyrical subject matter and subsequent title to be a bit of a proclamation from the band and James at the forefront of this idea that playing viscerally loud music with a powerful message is the closest thing to worship, oneness, or feeling whole as James can get in this world. I believe he's communicated to us time and time again that whether accidental or intentional, he is doing what he was meant to do, even if sometimes it can feel like you've made a deal with the devil. Money, sex, drugs, fame, bodily harm, and emotional turmoil, all to come out screaming on the other end to banish false idols and substances that can and will do you harm in search of eternal light, the endless source of inspiration to better your life and do better for yourself, no matter how hard or how impossible a task that can feel.
Hey, I'm James Hetfield with Metallica, and our new album is titled 72 Seasons. The 72 Seasons came out of a book I was reading about childhood, basically, and sorting out childhood as an adult. And 72 Seasons is basically the first 18 years of your life. How do you evolve and grow and mature and develop your own ideas and identity of self after those first 72 seasons? Some things are more difficult than others. You know, some things you can't unsee and they're with you for the rest of your life. And other things you're able to rewind the tape and make a new tape, you know, in your life. So that's the real interesting part for me is how you're able to address those situations as an adult and mature sometimes.
Running from and being ashamed of your past is a real fucking thing. It's something I struggle with every day, as millions of others do. You always feel like you're the worst person on earth because no one can truly feel the guilt or shame of the choices you've made like you can, surely. Letting go of the past, forgiving yourself after real remorse and regret has been established is absurdly hard. It will always be there lurking in the dark to remind you, and it wants to keep you from making progress. Thinking on this subject and the mistakes of my past, I found myself again in the nostalgia of youth. going back to where it started for me as a young Metallica poster boy, the shirts, the CDs, the live DVDs, the obsession. Most importantly, the freedom in feeling like someone out there understood what I was feeling. The anger and aggression and frustration I was able to purge healthily to some degree because of the music someone else made for the masses was so magnificent and palpable in its effect. Metallica is a band founded in asinine behavior, toxic masculinity, and beer bro riffs, all disguising the underlying message that could sometimes get lost on the average, I just need to listen to something fucking loud right now, listener. Sometimes those are the best moments, the non-invested moments. But when you listen to Metallica with artistic intention, an entirely different entity appears. Bleeding Me, Hero of the Day, Fixer, The Unforgiven 3, on a short list of deeper cuts. There is something mysteriously special to behold in the full range of Metallica's expansive catalog. I used to sit around and wonder what it would be like to experience a new Metallica release. At one point, it felt so impossible, like a Star Wars Episode 7. Insert Disney joke here. Cracking my brain into a steaming frying pan, contemplating what other sounds could possibly come out of these four human beings. In 2016, I got that treasure. Hardwired to Self-Destruct was the existential crisis wrapped into a metal album my 17-year-old persona needed. I was full of my own ego, against the ropes of what my future might hold after high school, and I was boiling with rage. It was heavy, it was crunchy, it was so Sabbath-like in its drippy riffs. But it lacked something inherently Metallica. It was Metallica pulled through the modern-day filter. It was mixed beautifully, but somehow less ambitious than Death Magnetic. In my opinion, arguably the most underrated album of their career. Spit Out the Bone aside, Hardwired was criticized for being a down-tempo slog of an overbloated double album. A work that could have come off a bit better with a few songs removed from its back half, and maybe replaced with punchier, speedier tunes. A brief pause to relay that Am I Savage has been my favorite track for nearly 5 years running off that album. Lux Aeterna is not only a possible sign that, hey, we got the message, but is placed in an interesting spot amongst the track list. Number 6 to close the first half of this 77-minute double album. My guess, a similar battle plan as executed for Hardwired, but with a darker take. A hopefully wiser take. The track titles alone foreshadow something sinister and matured for a band following two somewhat finding our balance again albums post Saint Anger. In all of my hope, I cross my fingers for a mixed bag of Metallica tropes. Slow bluesy burners, fast blistering trips, and complex lengthy prog pieces. Collected under the idea of one album. The arrival of Hardwired and its many ideas shows that the blossoming of that full-scale attack is upon us. As I sit here now, Lux Aeterna is fully established in my mind. It's a simple, drama-less song for a time where everyone would like to tell everyone to shut the fuck up and just jam. Turn off the phones, shut out the media, get back to the basics. It's a genius move to release this as the first single, in my opinion. The kick drum is clicky. In response to recent criticism, lest we be reminded that the similar tone of that production choice shows itself with pride on Injustice for All, an album now famous for inspiring a large majority of modern-day drummers who still chase the essence of that effect. Whether intentional or not, it seems Lars at least knows what he's doing in the tactic of leaving some minor detail in the mix that ends up pulling you in, so as to hyper-focus and find individuality with it. We're talking about the song, right? I believe Lars would take that as an absolute win. This track feels like it's not trying as hard to earn your approval as Hardwired's opening single did. It's back to being fun, not completing a chore. The opening thrashing feels like the end credits to a video game or a moment in life where you feel you can finally breathe in, returning to the surface of the water after a long and depressing pandemic. The closing thunderous snare rolls come back around once more at the end to replay a message that more is to come, and soon, and to be prepared. To celebrate light, but that you must always trek through the night to get there. A mantra that feels like Metallica is ascending, and they become more than themselves, and the music becomes sentient. I've begun to lose relatives recently for the first time in my life. My close friends are growing up, and the world is changing around me. The juggling of personal convenience and finding solace in God is constant, and the seeking of meaning is as important as ever, while we're all being suffocated by stimulation at every waking minute. Cherish those you love and those who love you. Take the time to appreciate all you have and what makes you happy. Relish in the sentiment that you exist in a timeline that allows you to indulge and heal and live alongside those things. Our first 72 seasons are the hours, days, weeks, and years that will predict the remainder of our lives. What we do with the rest of them is up to us.
I'd like to give some huge gratitude to my higher power for the gift of music and the awareness of my destiny early on in life. Music is my therapy, and I need to do it. I would love to thank my wife, Francesca, for saving my life many times. My children, all three of you are here. Thank you for teaching me how to love. Also, sponsor and program brothers for keeping me out of the gutter and on the stage where I belong. For my brother David, for leaving the keys to his drum kit lying around and letting me raid his record collection and keeping the turntable on and all that good stuff. I want to thank the fans who are not afraid. Yeah! I want to thank the fans who are not afraid to share their lives with us and their faith with unwavering support. Thank you so much. I'd like to dedicate this, my part of this, to young musicians out there who are the next generations of music and expressing their passions. I would also like to dedicate it to quite the opposite. The people who are stuck. The people who are stuck in an image. The people who are stuck and afraid to be honest and dream a big dream. Dream big and dare to fail. I dare you to do that. Because this is living proof that it is possible to make a dream come true. Right? Right. Okay. And all members of Metallica, here or not here, thank you so much for being you and being a part of our lives. Yes, and making my life an incredible adventure. And lastly, and greatestly here, I want to thank Lars for calling me so we can include each other in our dreams of being in the greatest heavy metal band in the world. Thank you.